Hey everyone, CPO here, and in this video, I'm just gonna go over what I do to learn a new song for worship. I play acoustic guitar in a worship band at my church, and very often I have to learn songs to play on any given Sunday or Wednesday or Saturday or whenever I happen to be playing. And sometimes they're songs I already know and sometimes they're not. And this is a new song for me called Faith and Wonder, and we're gonna do it in the style of Upper Room. So I'm gonna show you sort of my tools that I use to learn a new song. And then, yeah, I don't know why I'm doing this. It just seemed like something I felt like doing. So I use a app called OneChart. That's what's on the iPad. And I use the Nashville notation system. Well, it's not really the Nashville notation system because I'm actually using chord letters instead of numbers. This is in the key of G, so Nashville notation would be 4, 6, 5, 4, 6, 5. But I'm not doing that. I'm using chords just because this is just for me. I don't need to share this with anybody else. But I am using the Nashville charting method, and this is what studio musicians would often use, and this is where I learned this, is from watching videos about that process of how to learn songs. The difference between this and a regular chord chart is I can make notations that will help me understand all the timing associated with the chord changes besides just the chord changes. So for example, in the intro here, I have, and I apologize, I'm not playing the music for this because I don't want to get copyright striked. So I'll play a little bit of me going over this with the acoustic just to make sure I have everything right later in the video. But for now, this is all muted just because. I break it out into bars. Understanding the time signature is important. So this is 4/4. So I'm looking for 4 bars. And how many beats per bar. So if it doesn't have anything like that first C, that is 4 beats. That's an entire bar. And then you see E minor 7 and D, because they're underlined, they share a bar. And in fact, the fact that there's no distinction means that they share a bar equally. So it would be E minor 7 for 2 beats, D for 2 beats, then back to C for 4 beats, then E minor 7 for 2 beats, and then D for 2 beats. So that's how that works. And then if I go down to the next one, the verse, it's the same thing, but you see I have the repeat symbols because that whole sequence is repeated. And same thing with the next verse. And so by doing this, by charting this out, it helps me commit it to memory because I can see those patterns. I can see where the intro and the verses are the same and bridges align and what my vamps are and my turnarounds and my instrumental chord progressions are. It's just very easy for me to visualize if I go through this process for each song. Now I know there's a lot of people that can listen to a song once and then play it back verbatim. I am not that guy. I expect probably a majority of the people in the world are not capable of doing that. I have to work hard to learn songs because I'm getting better, but I don't play by ear, and I really have to think about timing in particular. So I go through this process, and it helps me not only learn the song as it's played, but also commit it to memory. I'll talk about the app on my phone here in a second, but I do want to show you now that I'm working on the 3rd verse of this song. You can see I've got some additional timing marks. So in this verse, the first bar is A minor 7, G, and E minor 7, and it is split 1 beat for A minor 7, that's what the single tick on top is, 1 beat for G, that's what the single tick is, and then 2 beats for E minor 7. So I can easily look at this and go, oh, I play this 1 beat, 2 beats, 3 beats, 4 beats. I know exactly what I'm playing and what timing. And this helps me in the future because I'm going to learn this song now and I'm going to practice it and I'm going to have it pretty much down to memory. And I may not play the song again for months, maybe even years. I can go back and look at that and go, oh yeah, that's right. That's the A, G, E minor, right? So that's another reason why I like doing this process. And then also in this OneChart app, I've set the key to G. By the way, you have to set the key beforehand because now if I go up and change that key, it will change all of the chords that I've written to match whatever key I say. So if there's a key change, then I can quickly adjust that without having to worry about the Nashville notation system, which is why I quit using it. I used to use it, but then in my head, I'm always trying to translate what the 1 is, what the 4 is, what the 5 is. And I'm like, why don't I just put what they are? Because it's just for me. I don't do this for anybody else. So anyway, the phone now is running a application called Chartbuilder, and it's from Multitracks. Multitracks is a Christian music charting service. It does a lot more than I use it for. I think actually my church probably uses it for backing tracks and our clicks and all that stuff. It is used in a big way. I pay for a subscription for basically it's a solo practice bundle, which gives me access to chord charts, and then I can also break out the different stems to hear how different parts are being played. So because I play acoustic guitar, I'm often pulling up just the acoustic stem, the acoustic part of the mix in a song, to hear how the original artist plays that part. And then I either try and replicate it or do something in the essence of that if it's more complicated than I can actually play. But so that's super helpful, and it also gives me the click and guide when I do that. So if I ever need some help with timing to understand things, I can have the click going as I practice. It's designed for worship musicians to practice. And then again, I think maybe even the church may use this same subscription on a different level to do the actual backing tracks during the time of worship. I'll say it performance. It's not a performance, but you know what I mean, where we're actually doing the worship set. So what I like about that is I can go through and I can look at not only the chord progression, but I can quickly loop or play back different things. And you see me here going through and just listening to what I'm hearing, looking at the chord progression that's on the Chartbuilder app, and then using my brain listening to figure out what the timing of different things is. So it really is a good mix, and you can find there's very few songs I haven't been able to find on this Multicharts Chartbuilder app. They have a huge library. So this brings me to why I'm not using just a regular chord chart. A regular chord chart, which I used to use for years. I mean, I've been playing worship guitar, oh my gosh, for a long time. And I used to use that exclusively. That's how I just learned. And I would make all my notes on a chart. But a couple things here. First of all, the style of song that we're doing here, Faith and Wonder, we're doing it in a very specific style, that of Upper Room. And we were given a YouTube video that has it in that style. The charts that we have, the basic default chord charts for this song, are from the original style, which is different. It has a different chord progression. Verse 1 is different. As a matter of fact, there's only one verse 1 in this version of Upper Room. They do verse 1 twice in the beginning, and it's in a different chord progression. And there's some differences in pre-chorus and bridge parts. So if I were to use just the chord chart, it would be slightly different, and I would have to make some modifications to it anyway. And so that's one reason. The other reason is it's very dependent upon alignment with lyrics. And I used to get really heavily dependent on where, what the lyrics were and where I was playing in relation to whatever a singer was singing. So that's great if the singer is on time and you can hear the singer and the singer's parts align with where you're doing chord changes, for example. But not all songs do chord changes in sync with a lyric moment. I don't know what else to call it. And also, not all singers are always on time. And if a singer misses coming in at a certain point, I might miss my part. So I've adjusted that so that I don't really care what the singers are singing. I'm playing based on timing of the song from start to finish. And I know how many beats I'm playing each chord within a measure or a bar, and I play that. Now, yes, I have the ability to adjust because sometimes we will just turn off the click and the backing track and the entire band now is just free flowing with the singers. That happens, it is what it is. But as a general practice, I will work to the actual beat and click of the song and not be dependent upon the lyrics to guide me on where I'm supposed to go next. So I go through this process, which doesn't take long, 10 or 15 minutes to go through a song, get all the timing down, and then I export this to another app called SongBook Pro, which is what I actually use when I'm playing. It's sort of my cheat sheet. I have it set so that it's dark mode, and I just lay the iPad on the floor on the stage in front of me, and if I ever need to reference my notes, I can. This is important, not so much for the actual chord progressions, because by now I've already practiced that and have that fairly well ingrained, although I do have a brain fart from time to time. So it's nice to be able to look down and go, oh yeah, that's right, the verse is this, or the chorus is this. And we'll repeat this X number of times. That's all super helpful. What I really like to use it for is my notes on my parts in the song. Because I play with a full band, I have a very specific role within that band. And so I like to fill that role. Like, I don't play for everything. I don't need to. I don't play full acoustic for everything. Sometimes I'll do just the down strum on the chord changes. Sometimes I will do just whole note strum. It just really depends on the song and the dynamics and where I'm needed and where I'm not needed. So that's what I do here is I go back through the song now and I'm like, okay, in this one, I'm out for the intro. Like, I don't even play. So I make a note there. Hey, you're not even in right now, so relax. And then I also make a note of, I circle the key to make sure I understand the key. If the signature is anything other than 4/4, if it's going to be a 6/8, for example, I will usually make a note of that just because I need to mentally prepare myself for a different time signature. And in this particular case, this Faith and Wonder song by Upper Room, there is no acoustic part in the song. So I'm having to go through now and just think through how would I play this in a way that has appropriate dynamics and fits into the mix nicely. So I'm just going through, and I may change this later, but I'm going through saying, hey, look, you know what? I'm gonna be out here. I'm gonna go full here. I might just do strums on the chord changes here. And I make my notes, and then I go practice. And I sit down with it and give it a try. And that's really my process. Give it a try. Sometimes I'm going to change things. I make sure that my chord voicings match what the chord chart says, right? So I may write C, E minor, D, but if I play along with it and it's not sounding right, I need to adjust, right? Because it may be the recording is different than the chart, and that happens from time to time, not very often. Or I may experiment with different chord voicings, not only for like sound, but also how to simplify or make easy chord changes, particularly on things that are fast. Like when you've got that one that's like A minor to the G to the E minor 7, I believe it was. Like, I need to just know like how I'm going to make those changes, and I'll adjust. And so that's what this process is. I'm just going through it for the first time, getting a sense for things, making changes, how it fits with the song. And then my final step is, if I know I'm playing it to a certain style, and in this case we were given a YouTube video, I will play along with that. And that's going to be in a different key generally. So I'm using a capo here. The original key I think was B flat. So I'm playing G shapes because I'm playing actually in G. So I'm going to move it up to the 3rd fret, my capo, and then that puts me in B flat. So I'm matching the YouTube video, and then I can just kind of play along with that a little bit just to make sure that it does sound good with that particular song, because that reference song is what everybody else in the band is going to be practicing to. And I think that's kind of the interesting thing, because oftentimes we're all on our own practicing and learning these songs, and then we come together and hope it all comes together. And it almost always does, which is fascinating to me. So that's it. Just wanted to share that with you. I don't know if you found it interesting, useful. It doesn't matter. I just felt like I was led to share this. So If there's anything that you would like to see or any other questions you might have, feel free to let me know in the comments. But yeah, this is my process. This is how I learned this song. And I'm going to go play it this Sunday, and it's going to be awesome. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you on the next one.